Hey, thanks for sticking with me. I had just ended the last live stream, started a brand new one. Just as a refresher to those who are watching fresh, I am working on a little application I'm calling Adobe Lunch. It's going to gather all the data for places within walking distance of Adobe's office in the domain in Austin, and it's going to randomly pick one. If you don't like it, maybe you can thumbs down it. If you do like it, you give it a thumbs up, and then boom, you go. Um, so the last live stream, I was comparing Foursquare, Yelp, and Google Maps APIs, and I decided to go with Foursquare's. I don't know. I just think it looks sexy. Check it out. Documentation's great. The developer website is like really cool, and I've used it once before. Yelp just seems like old and antiquated to me. I don't know. So I'm gonna go with this. So in this episode, I'm going to start grabbing some live data. So we're going to start with our postman request here. I thought there was a way to export this stuff as save, to export it as like something. Yeah, I don't know. Send and download. I'm not sure. Um, oh well, that's fine. What we're gonna do then is just code this up. And we'll start here. I do have the application up and running right here. Localhost 8000. Doesn't do anything right now. But what we're going to want to do is probably create like a new folder. Oops, we already have a folder called utils. Let's make a new file called Foursquare. And in it, let's make a method called, what's this API call? This is the places API. And which one? It's venues, search venues. So venues, search. What's the other one? Later on, we're going to do like, ooh, get trending venues. That's cool. Later on, we'll probably do like, yeah, venue details. There you go. Let's call this venue search. And later we'll do venue details. And we're going to export both of these. All right. We're going to do some code in this video. Make some progress. So this is what we're getting at here. Man, this is like a lot. So let's define some constants. Here's one called base API, or let's say base URL. And we'll just grab all of this. And let's see, endpoints overview. Let's do this. Yeah. This will be called the group. And then I like to call it action. Stats. No, maybe endpoint. Yeah, premium. Yeah, we'll call it the group and the endpoint. Okay, so we want to create a URL, and we'll make it a template string, and so we'll take the base, add on the group, then throw on the endpoint. I'm hard coding this because later just might be handy if I need to make more API calls. See, and then I need the params. Which I'll get to in a second. Okay. So venue search is going to take in a couple arguments. Let's see, we've got, oh, and we should probably code in like the latitude. And longitude. Again, just a lot of like hard-coded data right now. We'll get there. And we're also going to need a .env file with my client ID and client secret. I want to make sure this is getting get ignored. It is. And I'm going to be right back, throwing up my be right back screen so that I can hop into Foursquare and grab these values. So just going into Foursquare's website, getting the client ID. And my client secret. Closing my env file. There we go. Now y'all can see. Which means now we need .env. So let's bring it in, npm i.env. And so this is going to be here. And then we'll configure it right there. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're pulling in our client ID and client secret. Let's do this. Let's go to index and let's import venue search from Foursquare, and we'll call it like right at the beginning. Oh, interesting. Right. How does Gatsby do environment variables? I always forget this stuff. Environment variables. Okay. For project env variables, I don't know what that means. Uh-huh. Depending on your active environment, the right one will be found. In addition to these project environment variables, you could also define OS environment variables. They're prefixed with that. Oh, what's the difference? API key will be available to your server side. Is that if you commit your to source call, it will be client side. Right. Oh. Yeah, let's just do this. It's like, where do we put them? I don't know. Whoops. Right. So you're telling me I need to hide my screen again. You're telling me that in my .env file, I need to prefix this with Gatsby client ID and Gatsby client secret. And call config accordingly. Okay, I'm gonna hide my desktop here again. I'm gonna try to print it, see what happens. If I'm actually getting it. Undefined. Damn it. I always forget how to do this. Maybe I need to make the different env files. Dot development. And then I can just like copy that, paste it. I'm copying .env .development and I'm making it .production. And they're exactly the same. Undefined. Hmm. Oh, in probably in Gatsby config, right? Yeah, okay. Already got that there. So I don't understand. Does this require like a server start and stop? Oh, see, I don't actually have to hide my desktop. You can watch my face instead. Yeah, this might require a server start and stop. Ah, it worked. So, okay. Let me just go over the solution with you guys. I created a env development and env production. I don't want to click on those because my stuff's in there. And then I can just use it as process.env.gatsby client ID. And this is because in Gatsby config, I am requiring .env and doing all this stuff. It's essentially loading the proper .env file. So we're good. Actually, let me switch back to my face one more time. Refresh the page. Okay, great. It's not. Oh, it is still printing it out. Don't print it out anymore. Okay, great. Alrighty, so now I have the API keys in there. We're good to go. So let's do this. What are these called? Query params? URL structure. Yeah, I love that. This is like really helpful. Oh, what the shit? There we go. Path. That's the query string. Yeah, I'm gonna call it parameters. So we've got client ID, which is equal to process.env. Gatsby client ID. And we've got the client secret. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this in as an object and then convert that. Client ID, client secret. Then we've got the LL, the latitude and longitude. Oh, in V. Which is what in Postman I was using. It's today's date. So V would be like 2019, the month, which is 10/10. Okay, so V is version. LL is going to be latitude, longitude. We have intent. It's going to be browse. Radius. Radius, limit, category ID. Okay, sweet. So as arguments, we want to take in latitude, which defaults to this. Longitude. I figured default value is probably better here, rather than hard coding constants. Intent is browse radius 1600. limit 50. But we will hard code like the URLs and stuff. Okay. So the params, this is going to match up exactly. Client secret VLL. This will be the values passed in. Intent is intent. Radius is radius. Limit's limit. Category ID. Is that optional? What's category ID? Oh, just showed my shit. Gonna have to reset it. I'll do it later. Awesome. Okay. Doesn't matter how hard I try. It always happens. Always expose the secrets. This is going a little slower than I thought. Search for venues. I'm looking for category ID. Looks like it can be null too. So let's just default that to null. Well, don't be dumb. So I've got URL. I've got params. Let's construct the query. So we're going to map over each param. Oh, how do I get the keys? I guess entries, right? Object.entries. So I don't want just the key or the value. I want both. Oh, that kind of sucks. I don't like the way it's returned. Yeah, how about just object.keys? That's fine. All right, so we're going to map over that. We're going to have a particular key. And what do we need to do? We need to just join all these together. Can't we just reduce? Let's go to that URL thing one more time. Does the query string Yeah, the query string includes it. So what I want to do is join all these up. Let's read up on reducers again. Accumulator current value. So I want to take the accumulator except for if it's the first. Is there an index as well? Current index. I don't know if this is going to be too complicated. What happens? This is just JavaScript exploration at this point. What happens if you map over something? So const foo is going to equal name, Brad, age. I think I'm 32. Oh, because you can't map an object. Okay, so if this is the first one, what do we want to do? Return accumulator plus the key plus the value. Accumulator plus the key equals value. Otherwise, we want to return the accumulator with an ampersand. And not other shit. So let's try this again. Can't get latitude of undefined. Great. Oh. That's why. So I got something. Is it right? Yeah. And so now let's log. See, I feel like this is going to be easier to do a different way. So first we're going to map over all the keys. And for every key, we're going to do what? We're going to concatenate. We're going to return a string with essentially it's going to be like key equals value. So let's make this a template string. Key, and then the value is going to be params key. And then we can do a dot join on all that with an ampersand. I think that's going to be better. Easier to read. Yeah. And then what we're really doing here is taking the URL, putting a question mark, and then throwing on the query to get us the entire thing. And would you look at that? It works. Just a little cleanup here. I feel like this is just way easier to understand. Okay, and then we need like Axios or something, or whatever. Fetch. Okay, fetch. I'll use fetch. I don't care. How do you import fetch? JavaScript fetch. Do I even have to like require it? Or is it just there? I think it's just there. All right, so actually call it, we'll get the response, and then we'll say parse the JSON, get the result. I think that does it. There we go. Dope. So we now have the information we need. Okay. Maybe there's already a JavaScript API that does like query params. Hmm. Oh, sorry. This is not on the screen. I was reading interesting ways to do this. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, pretty cool. I figured there's got to be a browser way to do this. Wait a second. I just saw something from Christopher and Andy. Yes. Yeah, he's doing the same thing. Okay, cool. Okay, so now I can do a venue search. Now I guess I'll kind of like stick with the Foursquare naming convention. I'll call them venues. And what we'll do here is now we'll say venue and set venue. Throw this in a state. I'm just going to rename this venue instead of location. Components. Rename. Okay, now I should be good. What do the results look like? I guess I can find it in Postman. Oh, that's going to take forever. Let's just log results. .response.venues. And so now we can do a get random element. There we go. So our venue search returns back a response. Venues is a list of venues from there. We'll grab a random one stored in venue, and we will set it. Venues, an array of 50. So what the shit? What's going on? Let's log the array. Let's log the index. Let's log the element. Oh, I need to destructure that. Got him. Okay. Guess let's log the venue. We want the name, really. Okay. I think that's going to be my stopping point here. So I was able to write a little utility function that performs the venue search with all the stuff we pass in. From Foursquare, I also stubbed out another one called venue details, which we're going to use here in a bit to grab more data about the one we randomly select. I have a little thing here that creates the query parameters. This is probably a little function that I should abstract out. That'd be kind of cool. So that's the Foursquare one. Then on index.js, I use a little state, and on click, I am grabbing the venues nearby the building, picking a random one, and then just setting it to state. And if that exists, I'm passing it down to the venue component. That's pretty much it. I'm going to deploy this. Am I really following versions here? I'm getting so used to work where I'm versioning everything. No. Okay, so let's see. Rename that to venue. Remove locations. Yeah, so fetch data from Foursquare. Choose a random venue. Display venue. Is it even installed? Okay, great. What's going on? Okay, thank you. There it is. Today at 11:52 p.m. Great. Yeah, okay, so this is going to be a problem. Right now, I don't have any environment variables. I need to put my client ID and client secret in here. So again, let me hide my screen or just show my face. Copy and paste my client ID in here. And copy and paste my client secret in here. And I'm just going to have to redeploy this. There we go. Building, building, building. Okay, site is live. Preview. Dope. Oh, and it looks like I still left some console logs in here. Where? That's fine. I want to get all this out though. Okay, sweet. Building again. Almost done. Okay, site's live. Preview. Make sure we don't get any shitty logs. Tell me where to eat, flower child. Okay, dope. Yeah, so next step, grabbing the data for that specific place. and displaying it in a nice way, and then maybe kind of like having a way to thumbs up it or thumbs down it. So the next video will be getting the data for that specific place. So hey, thanks for sticking with me on this one. It went a little bit slower than I thought, but it's getting late. It's been a long day. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.